So, nigga. Stealing. Well, stealing is bad, unless you're an artist, because being an artist allows you to steal like an artist. By definition, that is to study, credit, remix, transform, or mash up something to create something completely different. And I don't exactly have an art style, not yet at least, so I'm gonna steal. There's a lot of artists out there, but Sam's art is just...
Oh, Little Wayne.
The thing I like very much about Sam's art is the way he colors his artwork. It adds so much life and character to the canvas, and it reminds me a little of Disney. But do I even possess the skills to copy someone else's art style with my current skill set? Let's test out my capabilities with another piece before we jump into stealing from Sam. I'm gonna try and take Mekamaru from Jujutsu Kaisen and put him into the JoJo universe. I was inspired by this frame right here because it looked a lot like he was falling off his stand to fight, just like in JoJo. I completely forgot to record the sketch, but that process was very simple because I went for something calm instead of doing a more complex JoJo pose. Coloring was where it got a bit challenging because I was a bit confused with what I was supposed to do with the lighting due to most of the subject being in shadows. And the hair was also a bit confusing because I never wanted it to look flat, but I also never wanted to color every single hair strand. I eventually settled on this. So this is what we're starting with, and now it's time for I knew this was not gonna be easy because Sam has years of practice and experience. Plus, it's not like he just has a video telling you exactly what he does. Oh, there's a there's a tutorial. It's like taking candy from a baby. After watching the video, I learned a few things. Try to simplify the colors and go from big to small with your colors. I also learned other stuff like ambient occlusion and bounce light, all pretty cool stuff. Sam usually starts off with a very clean sketch, so I went ahead and made a not so clean sketch, and this took me way longer than it was supposed to. I tried to follow his tutorial to a T, choosing my own colors without the eyedropper tool, and starting from 2 colors and turning it into a few more colors, blending the shadows but keeping some hard pops. At this point, I was pretty much a copycat of Sam, and I was pretty pleased with the results so far. But when I finished the tutorial, the drawing just felt a bit, well, unfinished. And so far, I was drawing strictly from the reference, using Sam's instructions as a guide. But I decided to take a look at his finished piece on Instagram to see if I was missing anything. And I noticed where the tutorial stopped on YouTube isn't where the drawing stopped. So I got a bit creative, adding my little flair to it, just making it have that pizzazz. Even though I had no idea what to do with the hair because he didn't really cover that in the tutorial. And here, well, I hate drawing here. That's like the weakest point, but I was still able to finish it, and this is what I've done. Well, it's definitely not Sam's, but it looks pretty clean. It's looking pretty juicy, man.
Ooh la la.
Next, I was gonna have to draw another piece, but why learn to walk before you can run when you can obviously creep very well?
Huh?
Instead of drawing a next piece of Sam's and copying it toe to toe, I'm gonna skip that phase and just try to draw something completely new and use what I've learned from Sam. Not gonna lie, this probably was the worst decision I could have ever made. Looking at the reference, it looks pretty simple, it looks pretty cool and calm, right? A little girl with her glasses and lipsticks, it looks nice, right? Just the sketch for this drawing took me forever, and when I finally reached a point that I liked and decided to move on to coloring, I noticed it still looked pretty horrible. So I had to use my 2 best friends for this piece, which was the liquefy and transform tool, and I had to warp the hell out of this piece to get it to look something like the reference. At this point, I was spending way too much time on this, and it was high-key hurting my ego. And this is the finished product, At one point, I literally just ditched everything that I was trying to implement from Sam's art piece into this, and just did anything I could to make this look better. Hence the shines on the glasses, because I had no idea what I was doing there. Obviously, the hair is horrendous because I'm bad at drawing hair. Feeling defeated, I thought about giving up, but this is a part of the journey. I reminded myself that things like this take practice and time. So if I want to do it properly, I have to take baby steps. So I decided to try and redraw one of Sam's old artwork. I had a lot of options, but I wanted something that had a lot of contrast in shadows so I could put some of what I learned from the previous drawing into play. So I decided on this piece. Starting over the process from scratch, we begin with a clean-ish sketch, then selected a desaturated or muted color for the base layer, and then colored the areas from big to small, You know, the biggest being the skin, the hair, the eyes, any noticeable colors like that. That it's time to apply shadows. I chose a darker color and then chose an even darker color to add a bit more depth and a 3D feel to the piece so it actually feels alive. You know, the highlights are the last thing you want to add just to type everything together. The thing that I personally struggle with is sticking to the order of things, because I found myself jumping from certain steps before finishing a specific step. For example, I was adding highlights before even finishing with shadows, but it's important to start from dark to light in most cases because the shadows and darker tones make up most of the drawing. Remember, big to small. I had a lot of fun adding these red pinkish tones to the cheeks and nose. You know, it really helped the drawing feel more realistic. This is the finished piece. Obviously, it's not a perfect one-to-one, but considering this wasn't a step-by-step tutorial, I think I did a really good job capturing the essence of Sam's coloring style. I will definitely be using it going further. Tell me if you guys think I made some progress in the first, second, and third drawing of today. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please remember to subscribe and check this video out here.